said, if you can get a hatch, I can fix it. Or if you find somebody to flip it with the way it is, I can do that. And he said, well, he said, the only problem you got with a Dodge is, he said, you know how that works in our area, right? I said, oh yeah, I know very well how it works. He said, well, you tell me how you think it works. I said, it's called coastal. He said, yeah. He said, if the vehicle hits a yard or a salvage or something somewhere, she snatches it.
Take your fish, you scale it by taking your descaler and moving it back and forth towards the head.
She's got a warehouse up in Newport News about 12 miles high that she stocks stuff in.
That's ridiculous.
I said, yeah. I said it. Oh, Julie's at the house.
Say what?
And once you descale it, you rinse it off in fresh water. Then, once you're done with that, you take your knife and you cut at an angle from the peg fin, which is the fin on the side. You cut down the gill plate into the throat, and then you cut at an angle underneath the gill plate. Just like so. And do the same thing on the other side. And what I like to do is I like to twist the head off, because you can pull some of the guts out that way, and then you put it in a bag. You put it in your bag. Then you cut from the anus up to where the head was, right there. And you pull out the guts. Pull out the air bladder and the lungs, and the lungs are the gills. You pull out all the nasty stuff. You don't want any of that. Don't want to eat any of that because you could get sick. Once that's all done, you take it and you rinse it off. Make sure you rinse it off good, just like that. What my mom and I like to do is we like to cut from the side of the back of the bone down, so it opens up like a butterfly wing. We caught all these fish yesterday at NOB Naval Base in Virginia. For the other fish, you do the same thing, and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, so for these trout, our trout were 12.5 inches long. It looks very small in my hands, and because we're far away from the frame. So what we're going to do is we're going to fillet these guys. We are going to cut the same way we did when we were just cutting the heads off on the croaker and the spots on both sides, but don't cut all the way through yet. What you're going to do is you're going to mark out your fillet on the back. Stay as close as you can to the dorsal fins, because usually that's where the spine is on these fish. Then when you get down to the tail, make a slit, because that's not really meat right there. That's more cartilage than meat.
So,
Then once you have done that, you want to cut down as close as you can get to the backbone. But don't cut through the backbone. Then once you get past the backbone, you want to angle your knife down so you can make sure you get all the meat. Don't want to let any of this fish go to waste. And you cut fully through. These trout don't really have ribs, so you can easily just cut through those and pick them out when you fry them. But if you don't want to do that, you can easily just cut above them. You make sure you cut your fillet fully, and then there you go with your fillet. Then you rinse it off in your bowl. Make sure you get all those guts and stuff off. You want to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so now that you have all your fish processed, cleaned, and things of that nature, you want to get some cornmeal. Put some of that in a bag. You also want some salt, Old Bay, and some black pepper. Alright, so all the ingredients you want are garlic salt, sea salt, Old Bay, and onion salt with your cornmeal. Alright, so you have all your ingredients. You want to make sure you have your holes punched, that's for sure. I'm sure. Hold on, I'll be right back with you. Alright, so you want to put your seasonings in there. You don't want a lot, just maybe 3 or 4 squeezes. Maybe a little bit more. That's it. Then you want your onion salt. Take that, couple squeezes, put that in there, and then your salt, you want to do a couple squeezes or however much you like. Don't put too much, because then your fish will taste fishy. Like it literally just came out the ocean. Then, main ingredient, Old Bay seasoning. Then you zip up your bag. You get it all in one corner. Make sure you have some air in there. Put some air in it. Make sure you got some air in your pocket there. shake it. Possibly put a little bit more Old Bay in there. I don't want it to have like an orangish tint to it. Just like that. And then you take all your fish. First, you want to pat it dry. You want to take your fish, put them on a plate. Put your fish on a plate. Let them drip. Kind of shake him a little bit. Then you put it on your plate. Then you want to take a paper towel or tissue. We don't have paper towels right now, so I'm going to use tissue, and you want to pat your fish dry. So that way your seasoning sticks better to the fish. And then once you have your fish patted dry, you want to put it in there. Make sure you do this quite a couple of times on each fish to make sure it's dry. You don't want any moisture. Don't want any moisture in that baby. Just want it straight dry. Alright, so once you have all your fish in here, you want to make sure you get some air in the bag. And you want to shake it. Ooh, ow. Finn got me. Finn poked through the bag and got me. Ooh, don't want to do that. That's for sure. Make sure all your fish is evenly coated. Then once all your fish is evenly coated, you want to make sure you shake off any of the excess. You don't want any clumps of seasoning on your fish. So shake off the excess. Put them on a separate plate from when you dried off your fish on. You see how they kind of have all the same amount of seasoning on the fish? The fillets may have a little bit more because they have a lot more to grab onto because it's already kind of flaky, as you may say. So shake off all the excess. You don't want any excess. Just like that. Now, since all your fish is evenly coated, you can save this. Use it another time. You want to get a cast iron pan, just like this. Just like this. This is what my mom has. There's a red copper. You want to turn your heat on. You want to turn your heat on medium. Turn it on medium. Don't want a big flame. Then you want to get some canola oil or peanut oil or whatever oil you like to use. Right here we have some canola oil. I'm going to take your top off and only put enough to cover the bottom of the pan, because you don't want to have too much on there, in there. Move it around a little bit. Make sure that pan is nice and covered in the oil. Don't drop your top like I do. Hydrate. It's good for you. I will see you once this oil heats up. If you're a child and you still live with your parents, make sure you put your seasonings and stuff away, or else your mom will be mad. She might want to kill you. So now, since your oil is hot, you want to take all your fish, or a couple fish, however many that you can fit. You want to take your tongs and gently lay them down in your pan. Now you want to let them sit on one side for about 4 or 5 minutes or so, and then you want to flip them. When they turn like a golden and crispy on one side, you want to flip them. I'll be right back at you when they turn golden crispy.